series. This is part 9. I'm your host, Nick Costco. As always, pleased to be joined now this week by fullback and defensive lineman, offensive lineman. He can do it all. He's a big man, Stephen Fluker. Steve, thanks for joining me, man. And just first off, I want to start out, how are you doing during this time? Obviously, the coronavirus pandemic and everything else that's been going on in this country has been pretty wild over the past, about 3 months now. So just take me through where your mindset is and how you've been doing over the past last 2-3 months.
Well, basically, I can say I'm just blessed to still be alive. I've just been trying to stay healthy, stay out the way. I've been spending a lot more time with my family, and pretty much during this course of the time, I see a lot of things going on. So it's kind of like it makes me just want to get closer to God and pray a little bit more and appreciate family more since all this pandemic stuff been going on.
Yeah, I mean, we would be amiss if we didn't discuss what's been going on over the past roughly 2 weeks now in this country, obviously with the tragic death of George Floyd at the hands of the Minneapolis police officer just about 2 weeks ago now. So, and just to kind of keep it, a little brief and a little bit general for this interview at least, what have you been doing in terms of that and how your response to that, and also how you and your teammates have discussed things throughout the past, roughly week and a half, 2 weeks regarding this issue? I mean, has everybody on the team really have they been able to have a good constructive dialogue no matter where their point of view has been?
Yes, of course. I feel like all the guys are adults. They are men. They very smart. They're intelligent. So at this point, I feel like we have a team for the veteran as well. So I feel like all those guys are going to handle things differently, but we also gonna handle things the correct way, and more so trying to do things the wrong way. I think that a lot of the guys that I have seen or have met or even had conversation with pretty much have a good head on their shoulders. So I think when it comes to this George Floyd thing or come to the pandemic or anything, it's like we all take necessary precautions to do the right thing.
Good. I'm glad to hear that everyone seems to be on the same page so far, at least with this organization. So I'll move forward now. We'll get to the football here. It was obviously, pro sports are allowed to resume in New Jersey, among other states as well throughout the country as the country begins to slowly reopen. So there's still no really strict timetable for the National Arena League for those who have been keeping track. The plan was hopefully training camps at some point this month. There's really been no update on that, and hopefully maybe a shortened season by July. So I just want to get your take on what you've been doing in the meantime to keep yourself ready, because obviously it could be at a moment's notice where they're like, all right, we're going to have 1 week of training camp and we're going to play 6 games starting in July or something like that, and then we're going to go straight into the playoffs. So essentially you could play a maximum of 8 games including playoffs with 1 week of preparation as a team without going through preseason preparation, preseason work, training camp. So what have you been doing personally to keep ready for the season?
To be honest, like I've been working out real hard. I don't know about other guys, but I've been going to parks, doing cone drills. I've been lifting light weights around the house. Like I said, I've been eating healthier. I've been getting dehydrated. I've pretty much been doing it all as if the pandemic wasn't even existing. I'm not trying to get it distracted with the pandemic, but I'm also taking it very serious at the same time. So with that being said, I just always trying to figure out a way to work and get better.
Now, we were just talking before the interview, you're going to be lined up at fullback, defensive line, maybe even offensive line, depending upon the needs of the team this year. So you're a very versatile big man, as they like to call them in arena football. In arena football, the fullbacks, they don't get too many carries. It's almost like an extra offensive lineman out there. And defensive lineman, it's a lot of one-on-one matchups. So have you been doing different things to keep yourself ready for no matter what position you play this year? Because, you've pretty much played on both sides of the ball throughout your indoor football career. So what have you been doing to stay prepared for each of those positions?
Well, I've been doing a lot of running the bleachers, going to football stadiums and running the stadiums. I pretty much just want to have my legs strong. Because that means you have to play either offensive line, D-line, or fullback. I feel like as long as I got my wind up, I got my legs strong, I feel like I can be able to do any task. Like I say, I just been doing a lot of running, a lot of agility drills, cone drills, running, stopping, push-ups, sit-ups, squats. I've just been doing a lot of different things so that I can be able to be the best I can be for my team.
Now, for this team in particular, what drew you to the Jersey Flight? Obviously, you've had a couple different stops in your arena football career. What ultimately led you to play for Jersey, Coach Foster, and play alongside pretty much a veteran-laden team? Obviously, with a couple of rookies mixed in as well. But what drew you to Jersey for 2020?
I would say the number one thing that brought me to Jersey, I would say Coach Terrence Foster. He coached me last season with the Cape Fear Heroes, in which in that year I was first team all offensive lineman. And basically, I feel like he was one of the first coaches to really like find me or discover me. And he also allowed me to be an athlete more so just being a regular offensive lineman, did just block. I caught 6 or 7 touchdown passes. Uh, I was able to make a award off really my first year ever playing the offensive line position. And also I've been watching the NAL previously and know a lot about Anthony Pate. You know, I hadn't met him yet, but I just like his coach philosophy, and I just feel like this was a good fit for me.
Yeah, we talked to Coach Payne a couple of weeks ago, and it seems like he has a very unique skill set in terms of breaking down a game plan and also come up with different types of schemes each week. So if you do end up playing offense, I mean, do you prefer that offensive tackle / tight end spot, or do you want to experiment with fullback and either you're blocking in the backfield for quarterbacks, Warren Smith or Danny Southwick, or you're going to be catching balls out of the backfield? And do you have a preference on offense, or do you just say, hey, line me up wherever and I'll go block, catch, or whatever you want me to do?
At this point, I'm not really picky about where I play. It's all about what's best for the team and what's best for the organization. And we all got one common goal, and it's to win a championship and be successful in the NAL. So whether it's being a offensive lineman, a nose guard, a center, a fullback, or even just cheering for my teammates, I'm willing to do it all to be a part of this organization and to force to reach the same common goal as become a championship team.
Now, you mentioned the goal to win a championship, and then pretty much everybody we've asked, obviously that's everybody's end goal. And, everyone's going to give you the answer. Well, we have to come together as a team. Team chemistry is important. We each have to do our job. And that's basically what the answer everyone's going to give, because that's the right answer. So I wanted to ask you about just to get more of your mindset on a shortened season. So normally an NAL season, 10 games, 12 games, depending upon the year. Then you have 2 rounds of playoffs or 3 rounds of playoffs, depending on how many teams are in the league as well. It's varied year to year from a lot of different arena leagues. So this year, hypothetically, if there's 6 regular season games and only the top 2 make the playoffs, and then they either play 1 game for a championship or they play 2 games for a championship with aggregate scores, or the top 4 make the postseason, what's the biggest challenge, knowing that you guys are going to play probably half a season before the playoffs, and then sometimes these championship teams don't hit their stride until the 6th, 7th game. Then they can go on a hot run. What's the biggest challenge, knowing that you guys are going to have to play a shortened season in order to come together fast and win a championship?
I feel like my team, they and coaching staff, they have very got us prepared for whatever the outcome may be, whether it's be a long season or a short season. I feel that due to the coaching staff that we got, due to the owners and the whole organization, they're going to make sure that the Jersey Flight is in the best situation at all times. And so, like, even by the season being short or being long, I feel like our guys is working right now. We mentally preparing ourselves as if the season have already started. We're not waiting to a training camp. We're not waiting to the last minute to say, it's going to be a season. It's not going to be a season. We basically preparing ourselves months ago for this particular time. So when it's time to really get to work, I think we're going to be mentally ready to do it.
What's been different for you? I know I've asked a lot of guys this about the team meetings over Zoom, going over just, team bonding stuff, or whether it's the playbook. Since you guys can't actually practice the offensive and defensive playbooks in person, in pads, colliding, hitting each other, getting a feel for the game, getting a feel for the arena again, what's it been like for you mentally grasping the playbooks on both sides of the football and grasping these new schemes for the year, despite the fact that you're doing it all virtually, and then you take what you learn virtually and say, all right, I'm going to go to the park or something like that and say, all right, I'm going to practice. Yeah, I'll run, ABC play here, and then boom, I'll run those sets. What's that been like for you, trying to grasp everything mentally and virtually throughout the entire off season?
Pretty much, it's been pretty good for me. I've been like writing down, watching a lot of old NAL games, and I watch kind of like veteran players that play in Arena One, and I looked at their position and what I played, and I try to critique certain type of guys that I feel like they doing their job. So I do a lot of film studying and a lot of how my feet supposed to be,
Mhm.
how I supposed to line up, and it's pretty much the whole play calling thing. And I just go out there to a field and I just practice on it. And so like during this course of this time, it's pretty much what I've really been doing, just trying to watch film and study. It's the only thing you can do at this point.
And take me through your arena football career. So I mean, it's almost like a step up in competition this year with the National Arena League, obviously, since the Arena Football League, the AFL, folded after last year due to bankruptcy issues. And now a lot of those guys are filtering into the NAL, or they went out west to the IFL, or even the AAL as well. So what's it been like for you making that transition to the NAL from where you were last year?
Basically, it's a blessing. I always wanted to always work hard to work my way up to a higher level. And now that I'm at this point, it's kind of like excited. I'm hoping and praying this season that it be a successful season. I started off in the CIF, which is the Championship Indoor
Mm-hmm.
Football League for the Amarillo Venom. The head coach was Julian Reese. I got signed during the middle of the season, like April or May, and then our season ended like in June because we lost the first round of playoff. And then I went to North Carolina, which was in Fayetteville for the Heroes, in which Coach Terrence Foster, he the one who recruited me, and this was my first year. Actually, last year was really my first full season ever playing arena football on a professional level, really. And my first time ever playing offensive lineman. And so I basically just been, I know that by me going higher and higher and higher, I need to start to watch better guys. Not saying they better than me, but just look at guys that's been more on the level, on a high level more than me. So I'm always a guy that's always trying to learn, always trying to get better. So watching film and listening to the veteran guys has always been my pet peeve and trying to get better in life.
When you mentioned that was your first time ever playing arena football, what was your first reaction to saying, that this team, a team like Amarillo wanted you to say, hey, we want to sign you in the middle of the season. We feel like you could fit in as a offensive lineman in arena football. What was your first reaction to that, knowing that obviously everyone grows up playing the outdoor game, youth football, high school football, and college football, everyone grows up playing 100-yard football field. And for those who are a little bit unfamiliar with arena football, 50-yard field, it's inside a hockey-sized arena. What was your first reaction saying that, hey, arena football, that sounds interesting? What was that like for you?
Be honest, it was exciting. Uh, it was a great experience for like walking out the tunnel, talking to the kids, talking to the youth, dealing with the fans. It was like a very professional setting. And like I was just pretty much when I first went, I didn't know what to expect, but then when I got there, it was like, whoa, this is like for real. And then I learned how to watch film. I learned how to get in the gym and work out and get stronger, because when you go against these guys, some of these guys is really strong. And so if you're not mentally prepared and you don't know what you're doing, you kind of can get lost in the sauce. So I kind of like never want to be lost in the sauce. So I always want to work hard, get better, and do what I got to do so I can maintain a successful career in the ring playing arena football.
So obviously, arena football is organized differently. There's less guys in the field. Again, the field's smaller. It's faster. It's more high. It's high scoring. It's a high tempo to it all the time. It's pretty much all passing. So you have to use different skills almost in different ways sometimes with arena football. So do you feel like you develop? I mean, obviously you developed a different way. Playing offensive, defensive line, and fullback in the indoor game. Do you feel like, despite the fact that you might have developed differently as a player, that you developed really well as a player playing a couple of years within the indoor game?
Yes, I most definitely feel like each game I get better, and each year I haven't got better as well. The things that I need to work on, I've been working on those things very tough during this off season, because I know that certain mistakes that I made last year, I don't want to make the same mistake going forward. And from this whole transition, this when you're offensive lineman, you have your feet got to be a certain way. When you're a D line, you got to be stronger, really, to pass rush. If now me playing fullback, this would be something new as well. But I feel like I'm always mentally ready for whatever to come my way, and I know that. But no matter what, my coaching staff, my teammates are going to help me get through it.
And I wanted to leave you here with this one. I've asked everybody, player or coach that we've interviewed the past, about 2 months now. So obviously quarantine has adjusted everybody's workout schedule. And for professional athletes, it's been really different. Some guys actually have home gyms. Some guys just use the park. Some guys were living in states where the gyms, closed, but then reopened now. So they have gym access again. So what was the most unique or craziest or, just most interesting workout you were able to do and say, hey, that actually works for something? I've talked to guys that have, pushed linemen that have pushed their trucks down the road or something like that, guys doing pull-ups on trees, or I forget who said it, but one of our guys said, I was doing my pass rush techniques on trees. Like I was smacking the tree bark. So what's been the most unique workout or exercise you've done throughout the quarantine?
I can say the most unique one I've done, I would say pretty much, I have like a probably like a 300 to 400 pound barbecue grill, and I do like curls with it, or I lay on the ground and do like small bench press with it, or I put it on my head extension. Like basically, I know my neighbors, they be looking at me like, what this man picking up a barbecue grill for? I'm trying to do whatever I can do to stay healthy. I know it's kind of hard to do certain things, but as long as I'm working the muscle and feeding the muscles, I feel like I'm getting some type of work done. So that's what I've been doing to just be kind of more crazy than the normal to be lifting the barbecue grill.
I'll tell you what, that might be the most unique one I've heard so far, knowing that you're bench pressing, squatting, or pressing a barbecue grill, but then you have an instant source of protein right after. Just throw a couple steaks and some chicken on the grill right after. That's pretty good. I like that. That's really awesome. All right, that's going to do it for us as part 9 of our Jersey Flight interview series. I want to thank Stephen Fluker for joining me here this afternoon. We'll see you next time. I'm Nick Kosker saying so long. We'll be back with part 10 by next week.